Breaking news this week, as the UCI, the governing body for professional cycling, is introducing a ban on a trend for hoods angled over on the handlebars that quite a few pros have been doing in the pursuit of more aero over the last few years, apparently on safety grounds. But is it really that dangerous? Well, earlier I went out on a bike to find out. So what the heck is going on? Well, the trend for bending the hoods over has been popular for a number of years. Why? Well, it's all about aero, more aero. And it's all part of the push towards narrow handlebars and just taking this reduction of your frontal surface area as far as possible, as far as the rules allow. And when I tried this position in a wind tunnel a few months ago over at Silverstone, we found it saved 3 watts just for angling your hoods over, a free adjustment that anybody can make. Now 3 watts might not sound like much to you or I or mean anything to you really, but if your name is Tadej Pogacar, you'll definitely take any free drag reductions you can take, and 3 watts isn't to be sniffed at. So aerodynamics is a big reason for the trend, but some riders also claim it improves comfort as well. We'll test that later when we hit the road. It's not the first aero handlebar position the UCI has ever banned. There's a Superman position back in the 90s with Graham O'Brien and Chris Boardman, and more recently the Super Tuck, and then very recently the puppy paw position. So this latest ban is just the latest step in their battle with riders really pushing the limits and trying to rein them in. And how on earth do you enforce a ban like this? Well, apparently they developed a device you put on the handlebar which measures the angle of the hoods. So another needless step of red tape and clipboard waving just to keep the riders the right side of the rules. Now, neither Campag, Shimano or SRAM ever designed their brake lever hoods to be angled over. The ergonomics are all based around that upright position. So you are compromising the design of those components. Now, while most handlebars on a road race bike will have the brake lever position upright, one way around the rule possibly, and it might need another ban here or technical wording to ensure it doesn't happen, is a flared gravel drop handlebar. Some of those put the hoods in very extreme positions, and that could be a way around it, although many are very wide and maybe not as narrow as a rider needs. So an interesting step by the UCI to try and rein in the riders, trying to stop them pushing the limits of the rules too much. But that's enough talk. Earlier I went out on my bike to find out whether angled hoods actually makes a difference and whether it compromises safety in my experience. Right, let's see how we get on. I'm on the Tarmac SL8 I've been testing, and I've angled the hoods over as far as they go. So a very extreme test to see whether it makes any difference. I'll ride my usual loop with climbs and descents and flat road to see whether they're any better or any worse. Is my safety compromised with these angled over hoods, or do I feel much faster? Is the aero benefits worth the slightly janky looks? So let's crack on. So safety is one aspect being brought up as a negative of these angled over hoods. So try it on a descent, first in the hoods and then in the drops. Can I still reach the brake levers? Well, yes, they're still there. Slightly compromised, but they're still there. So far, it doesn't feel outwardly dangerous. My braking control into corners doesn't feel compromised. Right, the roads are quite wet and greasy, so exercising extreme caution, slowing to his left-hand bend, spot the apex, bank it over a little bit. So I was able to control my speed, still reach brake levers. A bit more of a stretch if I'm honest though. But thankfully there's a bit of free stroke on these Dura-Race brake levers. I'm not sure I prefer it, but I'm not sure it's as dangerous as some people have said it is. It does feel very, very strange though. I'm sure you get used to it. Right, another left right hand sequence. Control the brakes, slow the speed, spot the dry line, avoid the potholes, of which there are many. Bank it over. And now ease up to the right hander. so look out for cars. So on that descent, it didn't really feel extremely dangerous, definitely compromised in how you can reach the brake levers from the drops, but it seemed to work okay. Shimano didn't design its brake lever hoods to be used at such an extreme angle, did they? The ergonomics have been developed to be used in that conventional position. So no wonder braking control is a bit compromised, but not as much as I thought might be the case. And when you're climbing out of the saddle, yeah, it feels rubbish. I don't like it at all. Not so bad in the saddle, of course, but out of the saddle, yeah, it feels a bit odd. The bike feels a bit twitchier. Another aspect of these angular hoods I've seen talked about in a positive way is improved comfort, which, to be honest, I'm very sceptical about. But after riding for 3/4 of an hour, I think I can see what they're talking about. Because you move your hands from upright to almost flat, like a flat handlebar. And that flatter hand position does seem to improve comfort and also help to reduce strain along the outside of your arm and through your elbow, which I find can sometimes get a bit sore and a bit tired after a very long ride when you hold that position for hour after hour. So that flatter hand position relaxes the entire upper body, the arms, and does feel quite comfy, I have to admit. It's a benefit I didn't think would be there, but I'm quite surprised. Now, can I feel any improved aero performance? Well, no. 3 watts is almost impossible to feel out here in the real world. But one benefit is you can get your arm down low, get that 90-degree bend in the elbows, and with the wide aero carbon handlebar here, you have a nice, comfy aero position. It's not UCI legal, of course, but for us regular average Joes, it's okay. And that feels quick. 40 kilometers per hour at 200 watts. Yeah, I'll take that. So that testing was very interesting indeed, and I can see some benefits, but I can definitely see some downsides. And after, admittedly, only a short ride, about an hour, I think I'll be putting my brake lever back to their normal default position. I don't think it's for me. The small aero gains aren't really worth the compromised position when I'm in the drops and braking. And on the descents, you can reach the brake levers, and with the Shimano brake levers on that bike, they're quite a bit of free stroke, so I can curl or wrap my fingers around the brake levers. But if you don't have much free stroke on your brakes and you are reaching for those brake levers, it could be a bit of a compromise compared to that normal position. Comfort when cruising along on the tops was actually pretty good, and you can get nice and aero, but I don't think it's for me. I think I go back to a regular straight up position because it feels good, nice comfort on the tops and in the drops. I can reach the brakes with no compromise, so I'll stick with normal brake lever hoods. So an interesting trend, and are the UCI right to ban it? Well, it's not for me to say. I don't really see any problem with it. Let me know what you think by leaving a comment down below. Have you embraced this trend on your bikes? Will you be sad to see it leave the pro peloton? Or do you think the UCI have made the right move by banning the trend and think they should do more like this to rein riders back in? Anyway, that's all for today. A really interesting topic. Thought it worth sharing with you. I'll see you all again very soon. Thank you so much for watching.